Hello, I'm back. It's Jamie from Jamie and His Whiskey. Today I'm going to be reviewing an Islay malt, the Caol ila 12-year-old. So sit back, pour yourself a whiskey and let's get to it. So I hope you've all had a good week, guys. It's been lovely weather, hasn't it? Very nice indeed. Today I've been out for a run. It was like 24 degrees. So I'm not particularly in the mood for what I'm going to be reviewing today. However, it's not the end of the world because this whiskey is a good one. I have to say I do like it a lot. It is an Islay malt, as I said in the intro. It's the Caol ila 12 and it's bottled at 43%. It's a malt that I've only tried recently. It's not one that I had before until last week, and it is it's a lovely peated Islay whiskey. Islay, by the way, is an island in Scotland that is known for producing smoky whiskies, ones with lots of strong character to them. It's one of those that I love-hate things. Some people love it, some people hate it. Some people prefer the more smooth, fruity type of whiskey. And then you have people at the other end of the scale who like their strong, aggressive whiskies. This is getting towards that. It's not the most aggressive Islay malt out there, but it still packs a punch, in my opinion. And it's a really tasty one. And before I get round to tasting this dram, I thought I'd mention that it's used in a lot of blends. So Caol ila is, in its own right, is a popular selling single malt. The Caol ila 12, the distillery is huge. I think it's the biggest distillery on Islay. And if you've ever drunk Johnnie Walker Black, Johnnie Walker Green, and probably a lot of the other ones, then Caol ila will be in it. So that goes to show that it's probably very versatile and very well-rounded whiskey if they're going to be using it in blends in this way. The Peat Monster as well, which is the first review that I did on this channel, was primarily made up of Caol ila. So this can't be too different from that, and I loved the Peat Monster, as you could probably have guessed from my review. Anyway, without further ado, let's get on with trying this whiskey. So right, first off, look at that colour. It's pretty light for a whiskey. Oh yeah. Straight away you're hit with this lovely rounded peat smoke. It's just so inviting. It really is. You get a slight vegetal quality about it, like a slight damp, like a damp leaf type of smell. Yeah, it's just so round is the best way I can put it. But the predominant feature in this whiskey is the smoke. Unlike the Talisker, which I reviewed last week, the smoke in this whiskey is the main feature when you smell it. The Talisker last week, it was part of the whiskey, but it was kind of more in balance with everything else, as it was more of a medium peated whiskey. This, on the other hand, is definitely sort of does what it says on the tin. It's a rounded smoke, and you get this lovely sweetness underneath. Some fruit and maybe a bit of toffee. And I also get this sort of minty sensation as well, which I get from Ardbeg. If you've never tried Ardbeg, I get a slightly minty sensation from the smell of that as well. as I do this. Okay, let's see what it tastes like. Cheers. Mmm. Mmm. That is so well balanced. For me, it's like a perfect balance between a whiskey that's pleasant, smooth, and also a whiskey that's got like a high impact to it. As soon as it hits your mouth, you can really feel it. It has this lovely warming effect to it. There is a bit of spice as well. It's round. You get hit by this lovely sweetness to start with, and then when the sweetness starts to fade, then you get this kind of remnants of like ash and smoke, and then the finish just keeps on going with that theme of the smoke and the peat. I'd say the finish is kind of medium length, slightly drying towards the end. Lovely. Okay, I think it's time to add some water now to this whiskey. It's probably about a good half a dozen drops there, but I haven't got that much in the glass. So let's see what this does. It's toned down the nose a bit, made it maybe a bit sweeter and a bit tamer. Oh yeah, that's brought out so much more sweetness. For me, it's tamed that smoke down a bit. It's brought up the sweetness. It's kind of made it taste a bit juicier, but especially with a malt like this, it's such a nice malt on its own. It really doesn't need water. You don't have to add it. It does change it somewhat in that department, like I said, but I wouldn't say it's a necessity. You know, it's bottled at 43%, so it can handle, you know, it can handle the water okay. But I really do think it depends on your mood and what you're after on the day, what your palate's like on the day, what the weather's like outside. There's so many factors. I mean, I could put some more water in it, just drown it a bit more. God, there's not much left in there now. Yeah, there we go. So now this will be quite watered down. Let's see if it completely drowns it. Nose is still quite prominent and it's still quite strong. We're getting to that point now where it's starting to drown it a little. But you know what? If you're in the mood, it has tamed it down and it's still retained most of its character. There's still plenty of smoke in there, and it's still got that vegetal, slightly minty quality to it, which is prominent in quite a lot of Islay whiskies actually. I've found you sort of a lot of the times you get hit by this sort of this peat and this citrus, and then it's sort of followed off by this slightly kind of minty sensation. Peat wise, on a scale of 1 to 10, I would say this is probably a 7 or a 7.5. Easily a 7 out of 10. Anyone that tells you that this is medium or moderately peated, I don't think that's true at all. I would say this is a medium to heavy peat. Maybe when it starts to get a bit cooler and autumn is on its way, then this one is a good one to try. I really wouldn't recommend this one as a sitting out in the middle of summer in the hot weather drinking. It's not one that really suits that kind of thing. even if you love this style of whiskey, you know what I mean? I would save this until the nights draw in and you start maybe getting that smell of bonfires in the air and all that kind of thing. All of a sudden, a whiskey like this becomes exciting, and you go home after a day's work and you can't wait to pour yourself one and relax in the warm. So yeah, that's definitely one. It's definitely one for that. Yeah, and I can't recommend this whiskey highly enough. It's definitely up there with some of my other Islas that I've tried and I like. In the meantime, guys, thanks again for watching. Take care of yourselves. Don't forget to like, share and subscribe. And I will see you next week for my next review. I can't tell you what I'll be reviewing next week because I don't even know myself. I guess we'll find out during the week. In the meantime though, if you know any friends or family that like their whiskey, please point them in this direction for my reviews. Anyway, this is Jamie and his whiskey signing out. Take care of yourselves and all the best. See you next week.